Okay, so yesterday we have completed the conversion functions, single row conversion functions. I mean, two char function we have completed, isn't it? Two char function, and we have seen some problems on two char functions. We are able to write some queries, especially the combination of higher date and the equivalent intervals. Apart from this, we have also discussed about two date function. This conversion two date function is very easy. It is going to convert the date which is getting represented in the string to the equivalent date type. So that's why it is called as what, to date, right? And today we are going to see the analytical functions in the future topic once the subqueries are completed. Today we will see the concept of what, multiple row functions. Multiple row functions. Multiple row characteristic. Yes. So what is a multiple row functions? We can say that no a function that can operate on multiple rows of a table. Okay, so for example, if you have a table, right, you have multiple rows in a table, right? It is not you are not going to deal with only single row. I mean, there will be multiple rows, right? So when there is a function which is operating on the many number of rows, when I say many number of rows, like mostly all the rows, but when it will execute all the rows based upon the requirement, but at the end it is going to return only one value. So all the rows will be touched, but at the time of returning, the value would be what, only a single value. But the operation is upon all the rows. Right? The operation is upon all the rows, but the value is going to be given, returned in the single value. So I can conclude like a multiple row function is a function that can operate on multiple rows. Okay. Multiple row function is a function that gets or that can operate on multiple rows of a table and return a single value. Return a single value, right? There are many functions. There are some functions that is called as the multiple row function. The following functions are multiple row functions. Okay, first you have a function like the max, I mean the sum function you have. Second one you have the average function, which is what, AVG, right? And the third you have like min function, and fourth you have like max function, and the fifth one you have like count function. There is variance function, there is standard deviation function, right? And there are some functions like what we call it as the list tag functions. We will see that. Okay, select function is also there. That is a part of little advanced topic. So these are the five major functions that you come across very often. We always come across these five major functions very often. You will understand one by one. The remaining things also I will introduce. Okay, first one, the sum function. Okay, the sum function says it is going to return the sum of a set of numbers. Sum function. It is going to return the sum of set of a numbers. For example, You can have any number of columns in a particular table, right? You can choose one column, right? You can choose one column, right? And in that one column, right, there will be many row data. For example, you may be having a column which says the commission of employees. Okay, all the commissions are in the form of what? In the form of numbers, right? All the commission values are in the form of numbers. So this commission is under one specific table which is called as the employee table, and inside the employee table there are many columns, but you are targeting only one column. Your target is only on one column, and you want to ensure, you want to calculate all the commission values under this particular column. Okay, there are many number of values. Okay, it is considering multiple rows, one rows, two rows, three, four. It is considering multiple rows, and when it is returning the output is going to be what? No, a single value. Okay. Sum. So this is how it is going to get calculated, right? So for that, if you have such key situations, you can go for what? You can go for the sum function. It is going to return the sum of set of numbers, right? Or else I can simply say that to find the sum of values in a particular column, to find out the sum. Please be informed that it is used to find out the sum of values in a given column. Okay, let us see an example. Let me open my SQL Plus. ATB 7 AM, ATB 7. Okay, so we have connected. Let me set the space size 100, set lines. We have already one table called employee table. Select star for an employee. So if you see the employee, okay, so there are many columns which has the an integer or the number data type. So there is a salary column you have, there is the commission column you have, right? So if you want to find the total salary of all the employees, so I can directly use the sum function. So I can say that select the function, use the sum function and pass the column here. The name of the column is salary column, right? From EMP. Directly I can use the sum function and I can pass the respective column. I can give you an alias name as well if I want. Okay, select salary as total underscore salary. Select sum of total underscore salary, right? And you are able to get the total salary of all the employees. All the employees also are getting calculated. Likewise, if you do the same thing to find the salary of a specific employee, when I say specific employees, select sum of salary as total salary from, okay, I want to choose a specific employees from employee where I can say, let us say that where job, title of the job equal to SC, right? If I want to go and find the specific data, right, I can also do that. So if I want to calculate the salaries of a specific departments, I can do that. If I want to calculate the total salary, I can do that. Right? Don't you think that this function is making the job very easy? Right? If you want to deal with multiple rows, especially if you want to work upon the same column values, so this is going to be very easy. So is there any way for us to do this with the previous operators, or with the previous with the previous functions that you have discussed? There may be some other ways. There may be, you can use operators also, but you have to take each and every row every time you have to use. The statement is going to be very complicated. These functions are keeping it very simple. For example, let us try to do something like, I am choosing a column right? And which is an irrelevant. For example, I want to find the sum of the job column. Okay, I want to find the sum of the job column. This is completely irrelevant. This is nonsensical. It says it is not a valid number. So by this, I can conclude that only the columns that is of the number type is accepted for the sum function, right? So I think these things we can take in the exam. Can take these three examples. Okay. Next function, you have what? You have the average function. So there is a marginal difference between sum and the average function. So the average function says AVG. AVG function. The average function is going to find the average value in a given column. Right? There are list of values in a given column. It is going to find the average. I can say that it is going to find out the average of total columns, total values. Average function going to find the average total columns. Given example, select star from EMP. Okay. Now I want to find the average salary of all the employees, or else I want to find the average commission. Okay, directly I can use select the function name average. Okay, average of salary column, okay, from EMP. Okay, so this is the average salary of each and every average salary of all the employees, right? And if you want to find the average commission of all the employees, okay, I can also do this. Average commission we got. And if you want to find the right, I want to find the instead of average commission, I want to find the average commission for the employees who are working as what? Who are working as the analyst. Okay. JOB job equal to 80. Okay. So this is the average company's average commission from employee where the job is what? Or the job is analyst. Right? And it will work on. And also there is another way. See, this is the fastest way to calculate the average, but there is also another way. What is another way? I will show you that for you. If you want, you can also calculate the average by using these combinations. You can say you can get the average value by using the combination of two functions. Okay, one is what? The sum function divided by, there is a function called the count function. There is a function called count function. So this count is going to take the column name as an argument. Okay, it can be any column name. For example, you're taking the salary as a column name, right? And all the rows will be counted, right? Let us go back and see. You see the salary as a column, take the salary as a column. It is the count method is going to just count all the rows. Total 11 rows, okay? And sum will be calculated. So in mathematically, we know this already. The average can be calculated by what? By this total sum of the total number of entities divided by number of entities, right? Sum by total, right? The same formula is applied here. But if you use this, if you go with this formula, the problem is the time consumption is more. It's going to consume a lot of time. So it is not the faster way of doing it. Instead of finding this way, there is a direct way which is called as what? Is called as the average. Right? If you can also get this by combining two functions, which is sum function followed by which is what, which is the count function, is the count function. Okay, you are getting the same as before. Okay, average commission is 1120, but if you ask me about the fastest way, so this is the fastest way. It is going to retrieve the it is going to do the average, it is going to get the average value in a faster way, in a better way than the value that is returned by the combination of these two functions, sum and the count function. Right? We did not discuss about the count function yet. For now, try to understand that the count function is a kind of function that is going to return the number of entities under a number of rows under a given column name. Right? Let me put this here. Not recommended. Okay, next we have the min function. Okay, so it returns the minimum values from a given column. It will just return the minimum value. Right? So same example, same table example, and go to the table example. Okay. You want to find the if you want to find the minimum salary of an employee. Okay, select start from you. Okay. What if you want to find the minimum salary of an employee? Right? Just use minimum function directly. Select minimum. Okay, salary. Minimum underscore salary employee. You will get the minimum salary. It is going to check each and every row and it will extract the minimum salary. If you right, like which you can also find what you want to find minimum salary, comma. If you want to find minimum commission, okay, minimum commission, okay, as minimum commission. You can also minimum salary is this and the minimum commission is this, right? And also you can perform yeah, you can also apply this for the minimum employee number. You can also apply this to calculate the minimum department number, and you can also include the where clause. You can also include the where clause. Salary from employee where job equal to. So the HR minimum salary is 65,000. So these are the examples. Straightforward, but there are some areas where we will be depending upon using this function. So we will combine. We'll take the minimum value and we will add a particular number to generate the sequential what we call it can be to generate our own employee code. Okay, we will take the minimum value or we'll take the maximum value and we will try to generate our own employee code in the sequential order. So there are some areas where we will be using this frequently. It's not like only to find this. So to find some other complex activity, we will be depending upon these functions: minimum function, maximum function, multi-row functions will be depending upon. Right? So like minimum function, we have what when there is minimum function, we should also have the maximum function. So max function. Okay, it is just returns the maximum value. Going to and the maximum value. Go back. Same example we can take. Instead of minimum, I can use maximum here. Maximum salary you are getting. Maximum commission. Let me change this also. Maximum salary from the employee. Okay. And maximum commission. Even though this column has duplicates, no matter. The maximum salary will be taken out. The column can have duplicates. The column can have the null entities, whatever it is. The maximum salary gets retrieved. Okay. So let us go back and see. Okay. Next one we have the function. Okay. You must put some concentration on this function, the count function. We have the count function. Count function. Okay, the count function is categorized into three types, guys. Okay. The count function is classified into three types. Okay. What are they? You have a function like count is going to accept the star. Star means star means all. For now, just take it as all. There is a count function which is just going to accept the column name. There is a count function which is going to accept what? Which is going to accept the column name, but the distinct column name. Distinct means unique. Not distinct column name. It is going to return the values from a particular column. The distinct values from a particular column. Unique values only it is going to return. To understand this, we will create our own table. Okay. Understand this. This table is not enough. We will create our own table for the better understand. Yes. Let me take the name of the table as create table test. Okay. So my test table is going to have two columns. One is serial number, which is of the integer data type. The second one is something like name, which is of what? Which is of the varchar2 data type. Let me take it as okay, table is created. So let me insert values quickly. Insert into the table name is test. Okay, followed by what? Followed by values. So I am going to insert only two values in this case. One is what? For the integer serial number. Second one is a simple character I want to increase. Yeah. Just into values 1, comma. Okay, one row created. Let me take 2, comma b. Okay, 2 row created. Let me take 3, comma c. Third row created. Let me take 4, comma null. I'm taking some values are null deliberately. Okay, let me take 5, comma a. Let me take 6, comma c. I'm taking 6 rows, 6, comma c. So the data are collected in such a way that to commit also. The data will be written in such a way that select star from, you see, there are 6 rows here, 6 rows and 2 columns here. But again, the column, when you take the name column, the name column has some duplicate data, right? And also the name column has what? Name of column has some, not the data that is not defined, which is the null here. Okay, to understand the count star function, what does the count star function really do? First function we have seen, right, under the count. Count of all. Count star means what? Count of all. Okay. Please be informed that it is going to count all the rows including the duplicates and also null. No matter if there are duplicate data, no matter if there is a null data, every row record will be counted by the count star function, right? So if I apply this, if we just apply the thing that we have just discussed, I can say that select count function star from test. Test is the table. It is giving us the count 6. Means every record is getting counted, right? But you can say that the combination of serial number and the name is not going to be considered as a duplicate, but still, okay, the column wise, when you take the column, for example, in future, the serial number may be a unique one, but column wise, if you take only the name column, like you should be in a position not to count the name that is getting repeated or that is not even having any data. But in this case, still it is counting because A is a duplicate and this A is a duplicate, C is a duplicate, this C is a duplicate, but there is a null value. When the null value is also getting counted, means some cases it is not acceptable, definitely. If there are some cases it is valid, but some cases you have to avoid using this count star function because it is also considering what duplicates as well as null value. We will see where are the places that we are going to avoid this. For now, the functionality of the count, which is accepting a star, is what? It is going to count all the entities, no matter if it has a duplicate value or if it has a null value. This is a simple example. Next we have what? Count underscore. The second thing is very specific, very much specific. Count underscore count column name. Only one marginal difference. It is going to count all the rows. Including duplicates, but not. If you see here, you have to pass a column name. So in the previous count method, you are not passing the column name. It is very specific to the complete table, right? Complete table it is specific, but here it is very specific to the column. You will have to choose the column name, right? At the moment you start using this, okay, it will extract all the data from a particular column and it's going to start counting, right? At the time of counting, it will not include the null value. That's it. That's only difference. It will skip the null values and it will start counting. Even it will consider duplicate also, but it will skip the null value. Example, you can have something like select count. Yes, please specify the column name. Okay, I want to specify the name column. Now, table. Not table, from test, right? Test is the table name. Okay, the count is 5. The count has become 5. Why 5? The null values are not counted, but the duplicates are counted here. So when you skip null values, there are only, the count is going to be only 5. Right? This is the example. So I can say that So null values is eliminated. In the above case, the null values are not included in the counting results, right? So there is another now the count function, okay, which is what? Which is going to accept the column name along with the distinct keyword. Distinct keyword, okay, and you have what? You have the name of the column. So it is going to count only the unique values. Going to count only the unique values. It will not count the duplicate values, the null values. And you can pass what? You can simply understand this slide. Select count. Okay, the only one thing that you have is, okay, you just go add the distinct keyword. Distinct means the distinct records, the unique records. Distinct followed by the name, okay, column name from the employee table, which is, so the count is now 3. Why the count has become 3 now? A counted, B counted, C counted, okay, and this is not counted because null. This is not counted because the repetition, duplicate. So only the unique records are counted in a particular column. So only it is going to count what? It is going to count the unique records. So if I do the same thing for, let me copy this. So this is all about the count function. Okay, there are few more functions where you have something like the variance, you have like standard deviation, you have. Okay, they are something a kind of, you don't use that in every situation. So these are the kind of complex mathematical operation. For example, you have something like variance. So do you know what is the formula for variance? There is a formula, sigma squared formula is there. Sigma square. So like it is like, you have the kind of the numbers, that's a data points. You have the summation, complex mathematics. It's not required, but I am just telling you it's a function called variance function. The formula would be like this way. Mathematically, this is how the formula is going to be. Let me finish. You have some. Pen is not working. 1 minute. Formula would be like this. So you have the summation, okay, and the mean set data, right? Whole square. It will be used in data sets operation. Correct. A complex mathematical operation. Okay, let us. You do not want to worry about this for now. If you want to apply the variance concept, now we can include this select variance of employee. Select variance of salary MP, right? You are getting the variance value based upon the formula that you have just given. So typically these things will never be used, in the Oracle, right? So they do this with things with the FE or the backend programming language, but in the Oracle they don't use this. You don't come across this very often. So we have things like variance. We have also things like standard deviation. So we don't have to worry about this. But there are functions like this. There is a function called variance function, but don't worry about this function. That's it all. We have we have completed the multi-row functions, and again, so knowingly or unknowingly, we have been discussing some other concepts in the particular table. Knowingly or unknowingly. For example, something like, okay, let me say select e name, okay, or else I can say that select e name from employee where job equal to SC. Okay, now if you see this, look at this query. If you observe this query specifically, so we know the select query, select e name from the employee. Till here we are good. We are good enough to understand, right? So if I write this query where job equal to so and so, write this an additional the additional statement after the select query. I'm writing this additional statement, right? So this additional statement is ensuring that it's trying to extract the employees in a specific category, which is what software engineer. So you have software engineer here, and you also have software engineer here, right? So we are able to get the data according to the value that we are using after the where statement. Right? Without where statement, definitely it is not going to possible. What we cannot do some operations, like if you want to update a particular record, for example, if you want to update the particular record, mic record, we cannot do that without the where. If you want to delete a particular record, we cannot do that without a. If you want to select a particular record, we cannot do that without where. Okay? So we haven't discussed much about this where, but this where is coming under a particular concept called the clauses. There is a concept called what clauses, but knowingly or unknowingly we have been using this where clause for a long time without knowing that it is a clause. There are some clauses that we have. For example, the first clause is you have the where clause. Where is called as a clause, okay? And you have the clause like order by. Order by is like for a particular table. If I ask you to find what, if I ask you to, if you see the salary, all the salary information is not arranged in the sorted order, right? So it is a kind of random order. But if you want to arrange the salary in the ascending order, or if you want to go and arrange the salary in the descending order, right? The salary has to start from the employee whose salary is less, and it should keep increasing, ascending order. Or the salary of employee should start from the highest salary, and it should keep decreasing, descending order. Right? You are acting with a multiple row, but at the same time the output has to be in such a way that based upon a particular columns the output should be in either the sorted way, ascending way, or the descending way. That kind of manipulation, that kind of a kind of complex manipulation. To do that, we will be using what? We will be using a kind of process called the order by clause. Right? So there is something like group by is also there. So the group by is like for a particular table, right? You have, for example, let me take the table itself, right? So for example, you have something like SC department is SC. There are two SCs, and you have marketing department, MKT, only one. You have analyst department. There are two persons who are working as what analyst. You want to separate that. You want to group that, group each and every equal job category into a separate table. I want to extract that to a separate table. For example, I want to create a new table. I want to group a new table whose job is just software engineer. One, two. So these two persons, this person as well as this person. Okay, David and John has to be grouped into a separate table. I can remove this David. I can remove this what we call it as the John and the David. Sorry, John and the David. I can remove this. I can put them on one table by using a clause called grouping by clause. Likewise, there are many operations that we can do. You have a clause like the having clause. You have having clause. You have clause like roll up clause, right? You have clause something like the cube clause you have, right? And if you look at these clauses, it is even in Java also you have something. The Java has introduced a new concept called Java 8 futures. In the Java 8 futures, you will find all the operations similar to the Oracle clauses. So that's why from the Java 8, the Java programming language has become the one of the most recommended programming languages in the world, because of Java 8 futures, which has the concept similar to these clauses, right? Now the question is, sir, what is this clauses? You're saying clauses. Now the question is, what is this clauses? Okay. So we know where clauses. For now, we know what is a where clause. Knowingly or unknowingly, we have been studying that we have been seeing that for a long time. But without knowing that it is a clause, we have been seeing that, isn't it? Where clause. What is a clause? It is just an additional statement. For example, it is. I can say that it is a clause is a statement. A clause is a statement, okay, which is used to, which is just used to add a select query. Very simple. Just used to add along with the select query. For example, when you say select star from employees, select star from employee. So this is a select query, and you can add the clause, which is what, where employee, where job title is, something like software engineer. Okay, just adding to the select query. When you add something to the select query, okay, that will be treated as what? When you add something to the select query. So this is the clause. This part is just called clause. In our case, it's a where clause, right? So why we are using clauses? So these clauses will help us to do a kind of operations. Clauses helps do the certain set of operations. Okay, what are the operations that you can do by using the clauses? You can do a kind of filtering operation, where clause filters. Okay, you can do a kind of sorting operation. Okay, you can try to do the things like grouping, separating the data according to the rows. Okay, and you can also do what? You can also find the subtotal or the grand total based on columns, or based on columns, depending upon the particular requirement. You can say that you can do the operation like finding the subtotal or grand total, etc., etc. Okay. So what is the syntax is? Syntax is very simple. Syntax is just you will be using the select query, okay, and add what, and attach the clause to it. Clause statements. So where is one of the clause statements that we have been coming across for a long time without knowing that it is a clause statement. is going to perform the filtering operation, right? So this will take one day, 1 or 2 classes. Okay, after completing this, we'll start some advanced topic. I'm about to log out today early because I need to go to uh, you know uh, go to my office.